Hi everyone, welcome back to the Rocks and Chains YouTube channel. My name's Fleur and today we're going to do a hints and tips video. So hints and tips on how to make earrings and different styles of earrings. So as you can see here, I've got some fabulous earrings that I've made, and I've made these using the Rocks and Chains earring project kit, but you can use this for any metal type and any gemstone as well. I've chosen some quite small gemstones for the earring kit just because we don't want them to be very heavy in your ears, but these are really cool. But the best thing about earrings is all you need to know is if someone has their ears pierced or not. So it's not like you need their ring size or their necklace length, something like that. All you need to know is that they've got their ears pierced. So I'm going to start by showing you how to make a Mobius ring, so which is this one here. So I'm just going to show you how to link 3 large jump rings together, and it can be any size jump rings from sort of like a 4mm upwards. These are 10mm in a diameter, and they're made on a 1.2 sterling silver wire. So I'm just going to show you how to make the Mobius to start with. So to make a pair of earrings like this, each earring is going to need 3 of your large jump rings, 1 of your medium jump rings, about just under an inch of chain, a gemstone of your choice, a head pin and an earring finding. So the first thing we need to do is to make our Mobius. So we're going to take 1 closed jump ring and we're going to need 2 open jump rings. Now for all chainmail, you need 2 pairs of pliers that have jaws that are flat and smooth in the middle. So for this demonstration, I'm going to be using my own pliers. So these are the Rocks and Chains pliers, and I've got a pair of chain nose which are smooth in the middle, and I've got a pair of flat nose which are slightly wider in their nose, but again smooth jaws in the middle. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just close 1 jump ring up. So I'm going to hold that jump ring in my pliers, so you can see I've got it all covered up on the left hand side, which is my non-dominant hand, and with my right hand pliers I'm just going to wiggle this one backwards and forwards until we get a lovely join. So we've now got 1 closed jump ring. I'm now going to take an open jump ring, and when you open a jump ring you're going to open it towards you, so a little bit towards you. So I'm right-handed, so you can see that right hand part of that jump ring is forward and the left hand part is staying perfectly straight. I'm going to go down through the middle of that closed jump ring, and I'm then going to close this jump ring up. And what you've got now is you've got 2 jump rings that are starting to intertwine around each other. And then I'm going to take the 3rd jump ring and I'm going to go down through the middle of both of those jump rings. So straight down through the middle of both of those jump rings. So you can see nothing fancy, and I'm going to close that up. Make sure that it's nicely closed. And then I'm going to place that down, and we now have our fabulous Mobius ring. Now all we need to do now is to take our gemstone, place it onto our head pin as such, and we're just going to do a simple wrapped loop. So to do a wrap loop, we're going to take our round nose pliers, hold on to that head pin at the top of the gemstone, push the wire away, bring it upright, bring that wire all the way across the top till it can't go any further, flip my pliers the right way round, and then I'm just going to simply tuck the piece of wire underneath, so you can see that it's coming out on a 45-degree angle, and then start to wrap tail of that wire around the stem until it meets the gemstone. So you can see there that has now met that gemstone perfectly, and then taking my cutters I can just cut that little piece of sterling silver away. Now don't forget, these are all sterling silver scraps, so if you do have a sterling silver scrap pot, pop it in there, or if you like to do granulation or melting your sterling silver down, or even if you just keep it just to weigh in when you've got enough of it, place it in that little pot. So I've now got my little circle there. I'm now going to take an open medium-sized jump ring, and I'm going to place on my wrap loop that I've just wrapped, and I'm also going to place on my Mobius ring, and then lastly I'm going to place on a little section of chain. And I'm going to close this up, and then the only thing that I need to do now is I need to choose which earring finding I'm going to use for this one. I'm just going to use a shepherd's hook, and with all the earring findings they do have an open loop on the bottom, so all you have to do is just open that loop again like a door. So open it towards you, place on your end of your chain, close that up, and there we've got our beautiful Mobius link earring. Perfect for everybody who wears earrings. I think these ones, absolutely gorgeous they are. So that's the first earring done. So the next thing I want to show you is how to attach a gemstone to the end of the chains. So as you can see on these earrings, there is no jump ring that attaches the gemstone to the chain. They are actually looped onto the chain and then wrapped into place. So you can see from these two examples of these earrings, exactly the same. So it doesn't disturb the fluidity of the actual piece itself. So what you're going to need for each of your little chain drops is a piece of chain, a head pin and a gemstone. So we're going to start by putting the gemstone onto the head pin, like so, and then we're going to start to do our wrapped loop. So for this we're going to need our round nose pliers, which again are the ones that I'm using are the Rocks and Chains one. They're very, very fine noses on these, so you can get a nice small loop so you doesn't disturb the look of the function of the head pin to the chain. And what we're going to do is I'm going to hold the end of the head pin just above where the gemstone is, and I'm going to push the wire away. I'm then going to lift my pliers upright into an upright position, bring the wire all the way over the top so it can't go any further because the jaws of the plier are in the way. Flip my pliers 90 degrees again, or take them out and pop them back in, whichever you want to do. And then I'm going to form the loop around the pliers. So you can see now that that loop has come out and out through the back. So you can see there it's out through the back of my loop. So the loops come around and out to the back. So this loop now has formed in its shape. So if I just hold it there, it's formed in its loop shape, but we need to add on the piece of chain. So I'm going to take my piece of chain, and what you need to do is just open up this loop a little bit. So I've just put my thumb inside the loop and just pulled it a little bit, so it's just got a little gap in between. I'm going to take my chain, place it onto the end of the head pin and loop it into the actual chain itself. So now the chain is attached. Now you've got two options. You can either place your round nose pliers over the top of that loop, or your chain nose pliers, whichever ones you feel more comfortable in, and whichever ones are the smallest. And then all we're going to do is wrap this around all the way down till it meets the gemstone. Give that a little squish in, and then just trim in the end of the gemstone, end of the head pin. Not forgetting that again we're going to keep this little end of head pin because it is sterling silver. And there we have. I'm just going to use my chain nose pliers or my flat nose, whichever one you've got to hand. Just give that a little nip in, and there you've got your chain and your gemstone attached without the need of a jump ring. So it's just seamless all the way down. And then whichever earrings you're going to be making, whatever you want to do, these are just some 4 different lengths of chain onto one of the medium-sized head pins, jump rings, and then straight onto your earring finding. And this one is using the little rondelles. So what I've done is I've placed a rondelle onto an open jump ring, a large jump ring, and then a piece of chain, and then a rondelle, and then a piece of chain. So you just carry on going however many pieces of chain you want on there. But I've just done these ones in graduated size, so you can see that you've got a centre point. So I've got 3 chain tassels and 1, 2, 3, 4 of my little rondelles. And that's how you attach a gemstone to your chain without the need of a jump ring. So the next little technique that I want to show you is A, how to cut your chains the same length if you're going to be doing something like this, and B, how to do open loops, so loops that can open and close on your head pin. So the first thing we want to do is we want to cut our chain. So the easiest way to do that is to take one of your chains, the length that you want, so cut a piece of length to the length that you want, and then rather than having to count all of the links down, which you can do, if you're cutting lots, then the easiest way to do it is to place the guide one onto a head pin. So place your guide, I'll lay it down, but you would do this as it was upright. Let me just pop this back on, it's just fallen off the end. There we go. So you would place those down, hold it upright, look where the length is, and then trim that away so that you've then got exactly the same length of chains that you can use for your earrings. Now we're going to utilise this head pin. All those little bits of chain that you've cut off, again, they go into your scrap pot, so only the little half links, and they're going to go into your scrap pot. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the end of your head pin. So just taking your flush cutters, we're just going to remove the end piece. Now if you have got 0.6 wire, then obviously you can use 0.6 wire rather than using a head pin. And what we're going to do to start with is we're going to come about just under like 3/4 centimetre away from the end, and we're going to place a 45-degree bend into the wire, and then taking hold of the outside of the end of that head pin, so taking it into your round nose pliers, making sure that it's flush with the end of your pliers. We're now going to start to curl our wrist over, and you can see I'm doing it in lots of different sections, just going to curl that loop over until we've got a perfect little loop on the end. And then what we can do is we can straight away put one end of our chain on here. So I'm going to open this loop like it was a door. So just bringing that open, placing on one of my pieces of chain and closing that one up. And again, you can see that that small loop is just perfect, so it looks like it's part of the chain. I'm then going to take 5 little coins. You could use your rounds for this as well. 2, 3. If you've got rounds, you could make them even put even more of the rounds on. I'm just going to take these 5, let them go all the way down to the end, and then I don't need all of this wire here, but I could make them even bigger. So let's just pop another gemstone on, so we don't want to waste any of that wire. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a 45-degree angle again on this end, and what I'm looking at is I'm looking at where the loop was from the first one. Okay, so if I bend this away and then bring the loop over, both of the loops will be on the same side. So I don't need, I'm just going to trim a tiny bit off of this so we've got the loops the same size. So I've now got my bend in my wire. Let those go down. And I'm going to take my round nose pliers and again right to the very end and start to curl that wire upwards. So again, I've got my nice loop on the end. I'm going to open that loop up and I'm going to place on one end of the other chain, close that loop down. So this is what I've got so far. So I've got a bar with 2 pieces of chain. I mean, if you wanted to make a bracelet, you could do a bracelet like that as well, no problem. But what I want to do is I want to bring both these ends of chains together with one of my medium-sized jump rings. So taking my chain nose pliers, holding onto my jump ring, I'm just going to go through both ends of my chain, and then before I close it, I'm going to take an earring finding, and it can be either earring finding, either your stud or your shepherd hook. I'm going to place that in place, and then I'm going to just close that jump ring up, and there we've got one of our beautiful triangle earrings, or swing earring. But these look absolutely fabulous when they're in place. So you can use these techniques for lots and lots of different pairs of earrings, lots of different kinds of earrings. You could do something as simple as a wrapped loop at the top of your earring and just have a single strand down. You can do that with an open loop or with a closed loop. All of these that you can do, that we've done with a closed loop, you could do those with an open loop as well. So really, it's just a case of having a play and seeing what kind of style of earrings you like making and seeing what works with the gemstones that you have as well. So these are just some of the examples of what we've just made. Let's get a Mobius one in as well. So you can see these ones, I absolutely love these ones. I'll show you these ones up close in a second. So these are some of the examples of earrings that can be made with the earring kit. These ones, all these ones are 2 little wrapped loop elements. So like what we made when we made the Mobius ring, 2 little wrapped loop gemstones onto one very small jump ring and then added on to a large jump ring. So I've just got 3 pairs, so there's 6 there on each earring, but you could use just one on each earring, if one on each jump ring if you want. But again, it's got beautiful movement, a real pop of colour there with this tourmaline strand, and really elegant everyday earrings. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this little hints and tips tutorial on how to make earrings. I cannot wait to see what you're going to make with the earring kits, and I will see you all very soon. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.